and man your ships, and may the force be with you.
I'm sure you've heard that line before, even if you haven't watched the movie itself. And I even bet you've said it before yourself, probably more times than you want to admit.
Just wait a minute, he's onto something.
But why? What is so special about a single line from an old movie? And how did those simple lines of dialogue turn into one of the most powerful forces in entertainment and pop culture?
How?
Well, today we're gonna break it down. Catchphrases. From the earliest days of movies to the retro explosion of the 70s and 80s to the gaming era of the 90s, all the way to what they look like today. Let's start from the beginning. The early days before catchphrases were actually catchphrases. In the 40s, 50s, even the early 60s, movies had iconic lines, of course they did. I'm sure even if we go through silent movies, we're gonna find some lines that would qualify as catchphrases as we know them today. But they didn't spread. You saw a movie once in a theater and that was it. And even if that picture did have a catchy line, chances were that you'd forget about it in a few days, because back then people didn't have VHS, cable, or reruns. I mean, how else were you supposed to remember a single line from a movie you just watched? Once, in a theater with people shouting and getting distracted.
We must insist on absolute quiet.
Imagine quoting something from a movie you saw one time in 1941. After a week you'd start thinking you made it up. So technically, catchphrases did exist, but they lived and died inside the theaters. There was no repetition, no shared memory, no pop culture echo chamber. At least not yet. Then came the 70s and 80s, the era that changed cinema forever and provided the perfect conditions for catchphrases to live and grow. Movies like Jaws, Star Wars, and Rocky upon their release became more than just movies. For some reason, everyone was unanimously in love with them. They would buy tickets for back-to-back screenings just to watch them again, and again, and again. Those movies became events, a much-awaited topic for small talks from schools, family gathering, or even a good old water cooler talk. Those decades gave birth to something so special in modern cinema that even to this day everyone tries to replicate it. The action hero. Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Eastwood, Murphy, and many more actors who would fall into that glorious category. Regardless of what you think of their acting abilities that, in my opinion, ranges from failed theater actor level to absolute peak, those guys built entire personas around one-liners and had a significant role in the boom of catchphrases. Suddenly, it wasn't enough to win the fight, you had to deliver a line before, during, and after it. So much so that by the mid-80s, every fight scene felt legally required to come with a punchline.
Please, sir, I want some more.
More?
VHS coming to America in the late 70s changed everything. I mean, for the first time you could rewind the scene over and over, watch your favorite movies as many times as you liked, and memorize every move, punchline, and copy your favorite characters in front of your TV. That would eventually lead to you breaking something and an actual fight breaking out in the house. Catchphrases became muscle memory because your cousin kept playing the same 10 seconds like it was a ritual, and if he does it enough times, he would turn into that character in the scene. With cable and reruns becoming a thing, now millions of people heard the same line at the exact same time, week after week. The day after a rerun, all the kids at school now acted like the cool guy on TV and repeated their lines. A catchphrase wasn't just memorable, now it was shared. And then the 90s arrived, and catchphrases didn't stay in movies, they expanded into gaming. I mean, those short punchy lines were practically designed to echo across playgrounds and arcade halls.
Nintendo. No one else creates this kind of experience, because no one else creates these kinds of games. Now you're playing with power, superpower.
One of those characters that would wholly embody an action hero is Duke Nukem. Personally, I'll have him sitting at the top of the catchphrase mountain just for paying homage to Roddy Piper with his line,
"It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum."
And boy did he mean it. I mean, it was his whole personality. Duke was parody, attitude, testosterone, and sarcasm all rolled into one. And his catchphrases acted like a promise. You were here for mayhem, explosion, and a hero who took absolutely nothing seriously. Meanwhile, Mortal Kombat was busy cementing some of the most shouted lines in gaming history.
Fatality.
And of course,
Get over here.
from Scorpion. A line so iconic it basically branded the character forever. These lines were call and response moments. Everyone in the room knew them, everyone repeated them, and everyone felt a bit cooler because of them.
Your soul is mine.
It wouldn't really be fair without mentioning some other gems like Earthworm Jim, Ruby, Star Fox 64, Do a Barrel Roll, and Street Fighter 2 for embedding phrases into the culture unintentionally. Those lines became shorthand for, yeah, I own this arcade machine now. The 90s were the time where someone around you was saying a catchphrase every 5 minutes, even when it didn't fit the situation, and mostly it didn't. Right, Dexter?
Right, that's right. That's exactly right.
But here's the question that kept coming back to me when writing this. Why do we love catchphrases? And why do we adopt them like they're part of our personality? When I thought about it, I came to this. They're memorable, in the literal sense of the word. They're short, punchy, and usually rhythmic. They're easy to say and you feel good when you say them. Why? Well, because they build social bonding and identity. Repeating a line together is simply fun, it's recognition, it's nostalgia. Quoting a catchphrase is basically a secret handshake. When you say it, you're saying, look, I know this, you know this, now we're in it together, buddy. And finally, they compress character. Sometimes, not all times, that one line can tell you everything about that person. A catchphrase becomes the essence of that particular character, and by repeating that line, maybe in that moment we feel like that character.
Well, of course I know him. He's me.
All the things we've gone through in this video heavily rely on our sense of nostalgia that does seem to be ever more forgiving than the reality. So where does that leave catchphrases in today's time? Are they just gone? Did people lose interest in them? Not really, they just evolved.
I say let's evolve.
You see, movies nowadays are more natural and less punchline driven. So it is only natural for that era of big one-liners to fade away and slowly give way to a new form of social bonding and sounding cool and all that stuff.
A new day is dawning.
And memes. Nowadays more than ever I believe that the essence of catchphrases have morphed into memes. TikTok audios, reaction clips, edits. It's all the same concept but just in a different format. But still, all that is not to say that movies nowadays have completely banished catchphrases. We still get them from time to time.
I drink and I know things.
They are good catchphrases and actually manage to stay relevant for some time thanks to memes, but they just feel different to the explosive 80s sense. And the reason for that feeling is that the culture has simply changed. We have moved on to other things and the pop culture has found new ways to keep us connected.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
So, why do we love catchphrases? Because they're tiny time machines. They're like tiny pins that we put on our past, and every time we hear or say them, we go right back in time to where that pin is placed. Maybe it's just for a fraction of a second that you're hit with that dose of nostalgia, or a specific scene or moment that flashes in front of your eyes. For example, whenever I hear a catchphrase from the Terminator, I always have this picture of Sarah Connor driving through the desert running in my head. And no, I'm not complaining. If you ask me, that is the exact reason catchphrases still have a heartbeat after all this time. I mean, who doesn't like a quick pit stop down the memory lane, especially if they're good memories? Catchphrases aren't just lines, they're the earliest form of memes, and whether it's Arnie saying he'll be back or Scorpion saying get over here, they stick with us because they're fun, and they remind us of a world that felt much louder and a whole lot more playful.
I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And also don't forget to write your favorite catchphrase in the comments. I'm looking forward to read them all. And since we are talking about catchphrases, it is only appropriate to end it with this. Hasta la vista, baby.